Okay, good afternoon, folks. I think we're live. Welcome back to another Boston Virtual Career Chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Super excited to have this continue on for our students. Students, if you're joining us, welcome. Educators, if you're joining us, welcome as well. We are so happy to have you join us. As you know, today we are here to talk about career pathways. We have a special guest with us today to talk about his career pathway at a company that we're fairly familiar with, Google. So Google is a very well-known brand throughout the world, and I know a lot of our participants are eager to hear about our guest's STEM career pathway into Google. So without further ado, I will like to introduce our guest today, Bhavesh. Bhavesh, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Let us know who are you and what you do at Google.
Hi, so my name is Bhavesh. I currently work at Google. At Google, I'm a technical program manager, and I've joined Google this year. At brief, what technical program manager means is, so I'm a technical administrator that oversees projects, make sure that projects get done in time with the resources that have been given, and they get done with the quality that we expect at Google.
Awesome, great. So students, if you're joining us, we're definitely going to start focusing on the computer science or product management side of STEM here. So tell us a little bit more, Bhavesh. Did you know that you were going to do this career growing up? What was it like growing up studying STEM?
No, so the way I got into STEM was I completed my high school around 2000, around 2K. After that, I had a choice of either going and joining business related fields or joining STEM. I had particular interest in math. The math is something that I enjoyed. Math is something that I found very relaxing. So that's the reason I went on the STEM path. After I completed a couple of years of STEM education, I wanted to do mechanical engineering. At that point, I had a choice, either go do mechanical engineering or pick one of the modern engineering fields like computer science, electronics, etc. And I checked with some of my mentors, some of my seniors. I figured out that I didn't have an aptitude to do mechanical work. Although I liked machines, I didn't have the aptitude, the necessary mind that is required to work with physical machines. So at that point, I switched to computer science. There was always flexibility. If I did not enjoy the field, I could always go back and do something else. So within computer science, I got really interested in programming, which is also called as coding. One thing I found was the mathematical aspect that I enjoyed in doing pure math. I could take it and put it in programming. So another thing to think about programming is it's something that kids can do it, something that teenagers can do it, adults can pick it up, somebody that a senior citizen can do it too. So it's not something that requires you to be of a certain aptitude. Once you put enough time and skill into it, you'll get to it. So I finished my computer engineering. I really enjoyed programming. I enjoyed algorithms. And then after that, I taught at a college for a year. And then I found that I had certain gaps in my knowledge and certain gaps in my understanding. So I decided to pursue a master's degree at Northeastern University, which is a university in Boston. And that was incredible. Those 2 years sitting with professors, sitting with colleagues, and working through problems from a fundamental level. When I say fundamental level, you can imagine you have a flat ground and there's no house built on top of it. So you build a house brick by brick. And that's what I mean by learning things from a fundamental perspective. And that really set me up for success. Those 2 years of university education at Northeastern were really useful. While I was studying, I got into an internship at EMC, which is a company based out of Massachusetts. I did some software work, did actual practical industry experience, which was very useful because when you're in college, you don't you focus on certain aspects of your work. certain aspects like quality, collaboration with production team members, that is missing, and that is what I got through my internship at EMC. Then I graduated out of Northeastern, got hired at EMC as a full-time engineer. Uh, the first year was stressful because I was still in my early 20s. I wasn't sure whether I was cut out for the field. Luckily, I got good mentors who coached me during that time. I worked through my insecurities, built a certain level of skill, found that it was okay to ask questions, found that it is okay to fail. It is okay to try hard things and fail rather than do easy things. Worked at EMC till 2020, which is this year, and then joined Google. At EMC, the last position that I had was of a director of engineering, where I was leading a group of engineers and managers working across the globe. We had teams in 4 countries, and the idea was to provide engineering availability across the world 24/7, meaning whether it be day or night, whether it be a weekday or a weekend, somebody will be there to help the end user out. Now, this year, I'm looking forward to working at Google. Google is a fantastic company. Products that we make are used by everybody across the world. Products that we make people's lives significantly easier and better. So I really look forward to contributing my skills towards the charter at Google.
Very cool. Oh wow, you highlighted a lot of key things there. I heard a lot about your transitions, your early work experience, and then also your mentors that kind of helped you along the way. Really powerful story there, Bhavesh. Thank you for sharing that. I had one question about your current role today at Google. Could you talk a little bit more about the skills that you practice? What were some of the skills that you saw transferred throughout your career pathway that still are relevant today that, as you mentioned, were fundamental knowledge that you gained in school?
Got it. So there are a few basic skills that I have carried forward. One is listening. When I listen, I pay strong attention to what the other party is saying, and then I absorb key points from what they are saying and try to relate that back to other conversations that I've had with other folks in the past. How does this help? When people are talking, they may be talking about a new area. So I should be able to capture key points of what they're saying, relate that back to other projects that other people might be working on, and dependencies between projects and risks, etc. So it's sort of like an electrician that is doing electrical work in the house that is talking to me, and a plumber is doing some water work in the house and is talking to me. Electricity and water don't mix. I am the person that needs to know that they don't mix, and I need to pay attention to both these guys and make sure that their work is separated out. To give an example, another skill that I learned later in my career, I would say around 2010 onwards, is project management, program management. Is how to whenever you're doing a small project, let's say I'm installing a garage door, right? It's not as simple as just buying a garage door, fitting it in my garage, and being done with it. I have to measure the garage length. I have to make sure that there are electrical sockets, the right electrical sockets. I have to make sure that I have the right code, meaning the local government is allowing me to install the garage door, etc. So there's a way to plan projects right from the beginning to the end, and various facets that are involved in the middle. That is something that I learned and I implement on a daily basis. Certain technical things that you learn in college and at beginning of your career, like fundamental things like how do computers actually work from a very basic level, fundamental level again. Ground, there is no house. How do you build that house, right? How at a fundamental level does a computer work? Networking, how does that work? Networking meaning how do computers talk to each other? Data storage. Data storage is, let's say I'm a kid and I write something on my book. The book is the data storage. So computers also store their data. Those fundamental things, they are never going to change. And those, the knowledge of those things and really thorough understanding of how those things work prove useful in new projects that we do. So those are the few things that have helped. So just to summarize, one is listening and strong focus. Second is project and program management, and third is just fundamental understanding of how computer works.
Absolutely. So students, as we're hearing from Bhavesh's story, he's a professional working at Google. That's a very big company. And not only that, but he has an important role managing a team of diverse levels. So if you're a student interested in finding out how he's exercising and being successful in his role, he's, he's using the same fundamental skills that you students are learning now. So yeah, I understand it might not apply or it might not make sense, but understand that with Bhavesh's experience, we see that this is something that you are going to exercise, and it's been going to be so helpful. And then also with his advice about listening, I mean, how powerful is that? Really key advice there. Bhavesh, can you talk to us a little bit more about what it was like to start off in the industry? Finding an internship can be a challenging experience, especially for a high school student now during the pandemic and the uncertainty of the next few months. Talk to us about your experience about finding an internship, and what advice would you have for our high school students now?
Yeah, so I'll put myself in back in 2006 when I was finding an internship. So I didn't know what to wear during an interview. I didn't know how to tie a tie, and I had to find a friend that knew how to tie a tie, and my tie is now ready. I had to ask my counselor what to wear, and he said you need to get a suit. So I had a suit. And you need to wear black shoes, got black shoes. So physical appearance wise, I'm all set, right? So I didn't knew even the fundamentals of those things. So then my resume was unformatted. Resume is something that you want to quickly show to your employer or any person that will give them a quick idea of who you are and what have you done. So my resume was unformatted. I had to work with my counselor at the university to get it formatted. The internship hunt for me, fortunately, wasn't long. However, the preparation for that was long. What I did was 8 months before the internship hunt begins. So when I say internship hunt, meaning you can't just get enrolled into a degree program and start doing an internship. So you have to complete a couple of semesters and then you can do the internship. So 8 months prior to the internship, I figured out I wanted to join EMC. Let's start with that. So I wanted to join EMC. I spoke to people that were working there already. I asked them, "Hey, what skills do you guys look for in a incoming intern? What sort of knowledge do they need to have? What sort of interviews do they need to go through?" So I had that list with me, and then with that list in hand, whenever I had time away from coursework, every day in a week, 1 day in a week, I used to go through the requirements and then do a little bit of work on those. So for 8 months, I was spending some time on those preparation. I did mock interviews. Mock interviews are important where you ask a friend of yours to ask you questions, and that gets rid of anxiety. There are other problems when people speak. They sometimes stutter, they sometimes think too much, etc. So those things can get worked out in mock interviews with your friends. Once the mock interviews are done, you go to the interviews like you're gonna go talk to a colleague or a friend. You attend those interviews, and now you need to be confident in your skills that you will get through, and you should get through given your prep work. So that's a little bit of insight into my internship hunt experience.
Nice. Students, as we're hearing, a lot of learning. It's okay to not know certain things. We're hearing from Bhavesh' experience that, he didn't know a lot of things, and that's completely okay. You're at a point in your life where you're continuously learning, and it's very important to have an open mind and be willing to use your voice and say, hey, I don't know that, but I'm curious to learn how to learn it, or how to, gain that skill or new knowledge. And that's so powerful, right? It's that skill of listening, using your voice, and then also exercising the resources that you have access to. So powerful, Bhavesh. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing that advice and that insight into your story. So we talked a little bit about your background. We heard a little bit about, what you do on a day-to-day basis. I'm thinking about our participants who might be joining us. As you know, they are middle school and high school students, and they are facing a lot of uncertainty right now. They just finished their school year. They're in the transition of starting summer programming, which might be virtual, most likely. So at this point, a lot of our students are, facing a lot of, how do I say, challenge, or are facing a barrier, not really seeing any opportunity beyond the summer months. So what advice would you give right now, Bhavesh, to our students, considering that they can still take advantage of the summer months? What can they do? How can they, take advantage of the information that you're sharing today and start to, make a plan for their future?
The first thing I'll say is like time is everything, right? When you have free time, like I sometimes go back in my mind and I think about when I was like 14, 15 and I had my summer vacations and I didn't do much in those. What if I had that much time now? It would be incredible. So time is a gift. Don't waste it. Utilize it fully. Second is routine. One thing you'll see is like if you go to YouTube, you hear a lot of motivation videos, you'll hear motivation speeches, and that can get you riled up and ready. But motivation, right? Today I'll get motivated, and today I'll get really worked up to do something, really excited to do something. But that's not going to take me forward to achieve my goals. The key point is discipline. What does discipline mean? Discipline mean it's a big word. What it boils down to is routines and patterns. So, for example, in my pattern, I wake up every day at 6. I wake up, I do my household chores, I work out, I get ready to work. There is a certain like I don't enter my office without taking a shower. That's a given. So as soon as I take a shower, my mind clicks into office mode. Then I get into my office, I do my work, and then as soon as I exit the office door here, I don't think about work. So there's a clear separation between house and work, which is the door here. Now, these may seem silly, but these are nuances that are in my discipline, in my pattern, in my routine. And after a while, right, you don't have to actively think about it. The human brain is so powerful that it will adjust to the routine. So every day, 6 o'clock, you don't need an alarm. You'll wake up because you've been getting up every day since the last month. For example, at 6, the next day you're going to get up at 6. You're going to take shower. When you enter the room here, every day you've been thinking about, yep, I'm going to start working or studying or doing some research. So as soon as you enter the door tomorrow, you'll start doing that. So those are two things. First is the time. First is time. It's a precious resource. Second is discipline. Third thing is, right, we have the golden resource, which is the internet right in front of us. Anything you want to learn, everything you want to learn is right here. So I belong to an era that is 50-50. In my past, there was no internet up until 2004 in my life. After 2004, I had internet in my life. So I didn't have everything at my disposal. So anytime I had to learn something, I either had to depend on a friend who knew it or I had to buy an expensive book. And I come from a humble background, so I didn't always have money to buy a book. But now with internet, you have everything. When I say everything, YouTube is a very good resource. You can search whatever you want to learn there and get a video about it. You have public libraries in America. You can search for books. Boston Public Library is great. I used to always go there to get books. Your school will be having libraries. You can get those books, read them. And then as you read, right, your curiosity will arise and you'll find other things which are related to your topic, and then you'll keep hopping. So it's like a tree. The book or the video that you get from the internet is like a root, and as the tree expands, you will fill in the leaves of the tree and your tree will grow. So to summarize, one is time. Time is an extremely important asset. Don't waste it. Second is utilize the resources that you have in your hand. Third is discipline. Those are the three things. And with regards to the challenges that we are having, use this challenge as an opportunity, right? You don't have to go to school. That is time saved through traveling. You have your summer vacation now. You are at home with internet, with a dedicated place to sit and do research and study. So all those are positives. yes, there is a pandemic going on, that's a negative, but you have to derive the positive from it and then use it to your advantage.
So much value there. Oh, students, I hope that you were listening closely because I definitely was taking notes. Bhavesh, your advice about, incorporating a routine, being disciplined, using your voice, reaching out to folks when you don't know. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your advice today. Students, if you're listening, I hope that you now have a sense of what you can incorporate into your plans for the future months. I know that the COVID-19 pandemic has a lot of us uncertain and a lot of changes happening, but let's listen to Bhavesh's advice and start implementing some type of routine. Let's be disciplined and let's use our voice and get curious to take advantage of the time that we have now. I know that this might seem to be a long-lasting thing, but this is temporary. We have access to the STEM chats that are continuing on for the rest of this season. So please take advantage of this valuable information. Bhavesh, I can't thank you enough for your time and your story today. I just wanted to give you an opportunity for any last words for our students before we close.
No, I want to thank you, Louis, for the opportunity to come and speak here. I think kids here need to learn that there is a big infrastructure, especially in America, that is there to support them. The type of resources that you have in your hand are myriad, and like a lot of resources are available to you on the internet, as well as books and infrastructure. Put in your best effort, utilize your time, get a discipline in order. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on yourself and improving the version of yourself, and get a better version of yourself tomorrow. That should be the key focus. Those would be the closing words.
All right. I definitely see that as some formula brewing there. So students, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Bhavesh, so much value. Oh my gosh. As you know, students, these sessions will continue on for the rest of the season. So please spread the word to your friends, your colleagues, educators. Let's let everyone and anyone in the STEM community know about these STEM sessions. As we're hearing, our students can take advantage of the valuable advice that our professionals are sharing and resonate with their stories because they too might have similar experiences. If you want to continue this conversation with Bhavesh, or you want to learn more about his work as a product manager at Google, feel free to reach out to me. You have my contact information and I can loop folks up with Bhavesh and continue this conversation offline. However, we are here at the end of our session. Thank you folks for tuning in. Thank you, Bhavesh, for supporting us during this virtual time. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you've shared with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, folks. And with that, have a great rest of the season and stay healthy during this pandemic.